As the frontman and songwriter for the acclaimed Australian band Men at Work, Colin Hay helped define music in the 1980s. With hits like Who Can It Be Now?, Overkill, and Land Down Under, the band received a Grammy for Best New Artist in 1983. Ironically, although he sang the words, Colin Hay did not come from the land down under. He was born and raised in Scotland, where his father owned a music shop before moving to Australia at age 14. And so your parents were obviously supportive of your decision to make music?
Oh, they were after a while. They were like all parents, I think. They thought, well, why would you want to do that? You won't, you know, that won't lead to anything. But yet, they paid for singing lessons, so they knew that I loved it, but at the same time they tried to dissuade me from trying to make a living from it, you know. But after it was clear that that's what I was going to do, they were fine, you know, but they were a bit worried.
He certainly gave them reason not to worry. After 3 popular Men at Work albums released within 4 years, Colin Hay embarked on a solo career and consistently toured and performed, promoting 8 solo albums since. Are You Looking at Me is Hay's 9th solo album and perhaps his most mature, insightful meditation on life yet. It seems to me that your fans have never left you. And do you ever mind when people ask you to perform some of your old songs when you're on stage?
No, I still play them. They've been very good to me, those songs, over the last 25 years or so, or 30 years, whatever. So it's funny, like last night we played in New Jersey and it was basically a night of requests. People just kept on yelling out songs and they were pretty much yelling out for new songs, which was nice, you know. So, but I don't mind playing the old songs, you know. They've been very dear to me. Well, I don't think you necessarily have to be inspired to write songs. I try and treat it like a fantastic job, you know. It is a job at the end of the day. It's what I do for a living, but it's great fun. And I try and go down to the studio. It's a bit different from it used to be. It used to be that you sit around and, because when you're young, you just tend to sit around a lot and just wait for things to happen, or things seem to happen. But when you get older, it's more about time management and organising your day. So I try and go down to the studio and spend days down there trying to come up with songs.
What is the meaning of the title, Are You Looking at Me?
Well, it came from growing up in Scotland, where you were always scared to look at somebody because that's what they would say to you. If you caught someone's eye, they would go, "You looking at me?" and they would immediately want to fight you. So it was it's terrible, that thing of growing up where boys and also men feel that desire to fight each other, you know.
Cecilia Noel, Colin Hay's wife, lends some vocals to the new album and on stage.
Well, it's easy because she's in the studio all the time working on her stuff, and I'm in the studio working on my stuff. So. And she's upstairs often, so I'll go, "Come down and sing on this song," or "Come down and what do you think of this song?" So, and she's very skilled. She's a great musician. She has great instincts, and she's a great producer as well. She really knows. She really knows what's going on, and she's not shy.
Exciting. Now we're back here in your dressing room, and there's one thing, of course, that I have to ask. Do you ever request Vegemite sandwiches?
No, I never have.
Do you like Vegemite?
I do sometimes, yes. I like it. I like it sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I like it when I go down to Melbourne, because in Melbourne it's just you associate it with certain places. I don't associate Vegemite with being in America.
Colin Hay has been quoted as saying, "If it weren't for the Beatles, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today." And the new album does seem to have that Beatlesque influence.
They're my, you know, prime influence, really, you know. When I was growing up, there was the Beatles, and then there was kind of everybody else for me, you know? So yeah, there's a strong influence there. It's just there was a uniqueness about that band.
With a new album under his belt, Ringo Starr is getting his all-star band together for a summer tour of North America. The 10th incarnation of the star-studded group will once again include returning member Colin Hay.
Difficult to describe in a way. I mean, it's fantastic. You know, it kind of blows your mind because I turn around every night and and there's Ringo playing the drums. So, and he, you know, I look back and I go, wow, there's Ringo playing the drums. And he, and he'll often look at you going, yeah, I know, it's Ringo playing the drums.
And you guys actually perform some of your songs.
Well, you do everyone's songs, you know, mainly you do a couple of each person's songs. It's Edgar Winter and Billy Squire, Hamish Stewart and Gary Wright and myself, and then Greg Bissonette plays drums and Ringo plays drums. That's what it is this year.
Recording artists John Mayer and Teal are outspoken fans, so we couldn't help but wonder if there was a chance of a collaboration or duo.
Well, not that I know of, no. And yeah, he said some nice things, that John Mayer guy, but I've never met him, you know, but very nice of him all the same. And somebody told me that, who else did you mention? Seal?
Seal.
Well, that's nice as well. Really? Yeah. All right.
John Mayer actually said he's hoping to one day write a song as good as you do.
Well, keep trying then, John.
You must get so sick of being asked if there's going to be a Men at Work reunion.
I don't get really sick of it because there's people, you know, people think that that's really. I mean, we toured for 6 years. Me and Greg Ham, the sax player, from '96 until 2002. But it just got a bit boring after a while, you know. But that wasn't totally the whole original band. But no, it's not really. It's not particularly anything that's really. Particularly, it's not necessary.
Right. I love the wandering troubadour character that you played on Scrubs. It was very clever. How did that come about?
Well, they come to see me play, Zach Braff. They used to come and see me play years ago. Because we have a mutual friend, Chad Fisher, who I work with a lot. And they used to come to this place called Largo that I play at. And then they brought Bill Lawrence, the guy that started that show. And so he said to me, he said, how come you're not hearing these songs on the radio? And I said, well, that's a good question. I can't really answer that. So I'm going to put a few of these in my show and see if we can make a difference. And a lot of them suited what the shows were being written about. So they've been very kind to me, very good to me. So I'm very very appreciative of what they've done.
I want to talk about I Just Don't Think I'll Ever Get Over You, the song. Which was on the soundtrack for Garden State. How many people do you think out there have been listening to that song over and over?
Well, quite a lot apparently, and it was a song that I wrote. It was on an album of mine about 11 years ago called Transcendental Highway, and of course not very many people anyway had that album, and but I always liked that song. And then Zach, he always loved that song, and so when I was doing that that episode of Scrubs, he said to me, he said, "Oh, I want to use that song in the soundtrack of Garden State."
With a career spanning 25 years, Colin Hay asked the question on his new album, "Are you looking at me?" Well, my answer, yes, and I hope to be looking at him for many years to come. For On the Beat, I'm Teal Camner.
Thanks, Teal. If you'd like to hear more of Colin Hay, stay tuned after the show for his latest music video.